CelebrateRecovery.com and click on the group finder. Hope to see you soon.
You're listening to the Conversation with Mike Sparks. I'm your host, Mike Sparks. Got a big show tonight, and before we do that, I just left Crunch Fitness and got a few giveaways. If somebody's interested in 2 7-day passes for Crunch Fitness at the old Kmart, there's also one at Priest Lake. Connor, could we say the 12th caller?
There's not going to be that many callers.
The 12th caller wins. So whoever calls in 893-1450 can win. Also, I'll throw in a free hydro massage session, which is pretty nice, man. I did it. And a free spray tan. That's what you need, Roger. A free spray tan. Anyways, I guess it's probably about a $50 worth of gift cards here. If folks want it, just come to the station and pick it up with Melissa, 893-1450. Connor will take the 12th caller. Okay. 12th caller. Call in 893-1450. Got a fascinating guest tonight. Mr. Charles Jones, legendary Mr. Charles Jones, 95 years young, and a man that I've come to really admire and respect. And before we get into that, though, I want to share an experience I had just yesterday, Mr. Jones. I spoke to about 10,000 folks from India yesterday at the India One Parade in Nashville. And they asked me to speak. Congressman John Rose was there, Mark Pody, Senator Hensley, Van Epps, I guess he's running for the 7th District, Mark Green's seat, and Representative Robert Stevens attended as well. Sweet people. Do you know many folks from India?
I sold a motel to an Indian.
Oh, you did? Okay. So you sold a hotel to some Patels?
He's been around, man.
They have a unique way of doing business, but they use the United States green card as a means of buying up all the motels in the United States. A green card used to be worth $100,000. Now it's worth a lot more. And
wow,
so
I didn't know that. Wow.
They would get a green card for an Indian couple, bring them to New York and deposit $100,000 for them, and then they would work for 10 years in their motel, and then they become a partner in another motel.
Really? Wow.
So they actually took American green cards and bought up all the mom and pop motels in the United States.
Really?
See, the Indians, when India was a British territory, the British educated the Indians with the hopes of them serving the British, and after they became educated, they were smarter than the British, and they became rich, and the British became poor.
Wow. Well, to me, the culture is it's fascinating. Once I started looking into it, and I think God often places us in certain areas for a reason. And what I've learned in my own walk of faith, this journey of life that I've been on, is usually when I'm in a weird scenario, it's just so strange, that's when I've noticed God's at work. Have you noticed that in your life?
Well, I've had a lot of times that I needed bailing out, and that was my...
Yes.
I've been rescued, I think, a couple times by angels. I'm convinced that was true.
Yes. Well, it was so neat, though, that's the fourth time I've spoke to. Thank you, Jeremy. The fourth time I've spoke to a large crowd, and I think I shared it a few weeks ago. I spoke at the temple in Atlanta. I spoke at the temple in Murfreesboro, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't have a clue of what I was going to say. I said, Lord Jesus, give me the words to say and the courage in which to say them, because you could have the words and have no courage, you know. And the sheriff was up there, all his staff, Deputy Chief Keith Lowry and Hendrickson and Sheriff Fitzhugh, and really their staff and Mayor Carr, and I had a proclamation. But what was so touching, they had bagpipes there. They were playing the bagpipes, and I got to share with them. I said, the last time I heard bagpipes is when I was playing it while my mom was dying, and she was from Scotland, and I never seen bagpipers like get down, have rhythm like these guys did. It really shocked me, and the drums, but such sweet people, and like I shared with them, it was an honor and both an honor and privilege to speak to them. Speak to that crowd, because I said, where I come from, I see division, I see chaos, I see butt hurt, I see excessive pride, I see excessive egos. I didn't see none of that with them. They had no security. 10,000 people. Now, there was a couple guys directing traffic. I guarantee you, how many troopers we usually got up there? We spent $1 million, over $1 million in overtime with all them protesters. The media will never tell you that kind of stuff. The taxpayers are paying because people can't behave themselves. But what we want to get into, Roger has got this sign that I think he stole or he borrowed off an old bridge. Roger, tell us about this sign that came from Old Jefferson that Mr. Jones grew up at.
Yeah, the old West Fork Bridge, we call it.
West Fork Bridge?
I'm going to have to set it down. That thing weighs 500 pounds.
Oh, it's
okay.
big old heavy thing.
Yeah, the West Fork Bridge right there at, Mr. Jones knows about that. When they put the lake in, they destroyed the two bridges.
Okay. All right.
Remember, I'm 70 years old, man. You only got me beat 25 years, Mr. Jones.
So they destroyed the bridge. They bombed it out.
What they did, the Corps of Engineers, they actually blew the one up over what we call East Fork. You're familiar with East Fork. And in West Fork over there, they did that one with an operation by the military, which was an outfit of Fort Campbell. They designate or whatever you call it, blew it up anyway. But that's, and my granddaddy actually got this plaque off the bridge right before they. Thank you, Jeremy. Youth. And
What do you reckon that thing weighs? I mean, you act like it weighs 100 pounds.
70 pounds.
Is it that heavy?
45, 50 pounds, something like that. What is it? Like straight wrought iron?
I think it's brass. I think because I can. Tell
I really think it's made out of Confederate gold, and it's got that mold on it that you can't tell it.
Yeah, let's get out of here, y'all.
And what does it say? Read off what it says.
Oh, okay. Let me get my glasses here. It says, well, like I said, my granddaddy did take it off. It's a funny story. My aunt said he did do some work down on that bridge at one time in the 30s for the county.
Yeah.
And they were doing some stuff, but he's the one that actually got it. And my cousin got it, and it got out of their hands for a while. Mike saw it in the estate sale. Somebody got it in the estate sale, and he called me.
No,
that's
Floyd
how it ended up
Barrett.
in my
Floyd
hands.
Barrett
Yeah,
seen
Floyd
it.
Barrett. Yeah, and that's how I got it in my hands. But anyway, what it reads is, I can read here. W.H. Robinson County Judge, County Highway Commission, R.M. Ward, J.D. Carter, J.H. Dyer, County Bridge Committee, and J.J. Martin, J.B. Randolph, and J.C. Chapman. Their names are on this plaque. So that's probably the ones that's, I guess the committee says the Bridge Committee.
Does it have a date on the very bottom?
No, it
Usually
doesn't.
put a
I was
date
looking
on it.
for something, but I never saw anything. So
But there were 3 or 4 of those families that lived in Old Jefferson when I lived there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
The Martins and the Wards.
Okay. See, I didn't know. See, there we go. See, we learned somebody there did that. But anyway, hey, I'm gonna sit down, and put my headphones on. I got somebody calling me. I want to say something.
Yeah, you've got what you want to tell us who
Let
it
me lead
is?
into. I'm gonna lead into this because you can actually hear it. Oh, all right. Can we hear it without? Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Let me get situated, y'all. After
But
holding that
that's
80 pound sign.
that's some neat
I need to
history,
put
though.
these
That,
on.
Yeah,
that fortunately that lady saved that. Do you remember what her name was?
Yeah, that's Darlene Miller. That was my cousin. Passed away a few years ago. That was his wife.
Darlene Miller.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then Mr. Barrett, he's the one, Floyd, he got it at, I think it's state sale. That's how it ended up in ours. But anyway, I was going to tell you a real quick Jefferson story before we get off on what Mr. Jones, is wanting to talk about. When you talk on these old Jeffersons, sometimes you bring up Ed Hunter. That's my uncle. That.
Yeah.
Well, somebody wants to talk to you, and it's actually Ed Hunter's sister, Dorothy Hunter Comer.
I remember Dorothy.
If she's on the phone right now, she wants to tell you hello. She hadn't seen you in 86 or 87 years, okay? She's 96 years old.
It's been a while, but I remember Dorothy.
You on there, Aunt Dot?
Yeah.
Did you hear us?
Yeah.
Well, we got Mr. Jones right here, and I thought you might want to tell him hello. And
Hello there to you. Yes.
Yeah, I'm Charles, and Ed and I were in the first grade together in Maggie Lowe's
I
class.
know. Yeah, that's such a sweetheart.
Yeah. Do you remember Maggie Lowe?
Yeah.
She had red hair and twisted it on the back of her, wore it in ponytails, twisted on the back of her head. She had a real harsh temper.
I know. I know.
what do they say about the redheads that got temper?
That's what they say. Yeah.
She was a good teacher.
I made a mistake telling her something one day. My dad used to teach me how to spell by looking at the types of tobacco he used, and they had like Country Gentleman and Old North State and various types of tobacco that guys bought. And I told Miss Lowe at the end of the year, I said, I think I knew more when I started this class than I do now. Kind of offended her. Not every kid knew how to spell all the types of tobacco there were.
Yeah, I've got a pack that Marty made a picture of that I guess belonged to my uncle. Some of his old belongings I got a hold to, and which was Buford, John. You know, John, the one that got killed, Norman.
Yeah.
And it had the old. I found it. Still got it in there, and it had a paper behind the label there. You know, rolling paper behind there. And I've still got the whole pack.
Yeah, it all kind of, they became mechanized almost.
Yeah.
When we did a survey one time in first grade, John's dad, Mr. Johns, was the only person that had ready rolled cigarettes. He smoked Camels. Everybody else rolled their own.
That bridge, that come off East Fork, right? East Fork.
No, it come off West Fork Bridge.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, East Fork is what you're more familiar with that. You know, the boat ramp and the place down there. The West Fork.
I hung out at West Fork.
You're the one of the West Fork boys, huh?
I hung out at West Fork.
But anyway, Aunt Dot, we appreciate you calling in, and like I said, I just want you to get a quick word in, and like I said, Mr. Jones, like I said, he's. I just think he's a brilliant man. Anytime I hear him speaking, I just get memorized. I just sit there and, it's just so great when he tells those stories at Sam Davis' home.
Yeah, I know. He knows them. Yeah.
Yeah, he's.
And some of them are actually true.
Well, and we thank you. And, we love you, and I'll call you later on tonight. Okay.
Okay.
You take care. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you.
Ah.
We need to get her to come up here to the studio.
Well, she ain't like him. He passed me on the steps.
He's in good shape.
She can't make. You did. You passed me.
For a 95-year-old.
He said, "Mr. Jones passed
These
you."
are some. If people have never been to WGNS, these steps are very steep. How many steps is that?
It's 18, I believe.
I think it's more than that. It's a lot. It's like, I mean, it seems like a lot, but I think you were going up, holding on to the rail, and then Mr. Jones passes you on the outside lane with his cane. He just passes you.
Well, the steps determine whether you're motivated or not.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
If you can't do the steps, you can't do the program.
But you know what's extraordinary about you, Mr. Jones, is that, you grew up at Old Jefferson. And you remember, I was born at Seward Air Force Base, because of the World War II, as everyone knows, it was built there. My dad was stationed there in the 50s and then 60s. But you remember traveling down Jefferson Pike before this base was even constructed, before World War II. I mean, that's hard for me and my generation to comprehend. I know it's got to be hard for Jeremy's and Connor's generation to comprehend. But what kind of car were y'all traveling in? Do you remember what you had back then?
Well, my dad never owned a car or a horse that I know of.
Wow.
And so when I used to travel, I would, in the summer, my uncle from Old Hickory would come and visit, and I would talk him into letting me go home with him. So
Really?
going to Old Hickory was my big vacation. I would get to stay a week in Old Hickory.
So you would go that y'all would go across that bridge where that sign came off of, that bridge, which is at the old Jefferson Pike, which is off of Jefferson Pike, what we know of today. Then you would go down in front of Goochland, which is where San Bernardino Parkway is now, the golf course, and you travel all the way to Laverne and turn right on Old Nashville Highway.
Well, we never traveled that far, but when I went to school, I went to Old Jefferson School, which was about a mile from there at the bridge, and when
Right on the right, which would be on the right. If you're leaving the old bridge, the school was on the right.
Payden Smith had a grocery store between the bridge and the school.
Right.
And one day, the Vance boy, H.G. Vance, and I went to the teacher, Mrs. Ward, sent us to the store. And we were gone about 2 hours. And she kind of had
do that kind of stuff nowadays.
she kind of had a little tizzy and said, "Why were you guys gone so long?" And H.G. said, "Well, Miss Ward, we went in a hurry, and we came back in a hurry. We just stayed too long."
But you know about those days, though, things like that. I can remember this in the 5th grade. Back then, everybody give people presents. Okay, it wasn't that many in the school.
Yeah.
And somebody gave me
Presents for what?
just Christmas,
Oh,
Christmas
okay.
present. Then this, I got a pack of firecrackers. Well, we shot them at recess. Outside on the playground.
Yeah.
Nobody thought nothing about that. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
So it's just nowadays you'd be under the jail if you do something
My
like
youngest
that.
son got suspended for that.
Oh.
But he just brought in little stink bombs.
Oh,
But
wow.
it's in the policy.
Yeah.
Even though it's stink bombs, it's in the policy. That was years ago.
Yeah.
Well, to show you how wealthy we were, when I was in the 4th grade, I had Valentines, but I couldn't get enough for the whole class.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this one girl coming up and said, "Charles, you didn't give me a Valentine."
Oh, man.
And I think they were a penny piece.
Sad.
And there was probably 20 kids in the class, and I probably only had about 15 cents to buy.
Who was the girl, you remember?
No, I don't think she ever spoke to me again.
Yeah. A woman once scorned. I've seen it. It's true.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
In fact, one of the things that Ed Hunter did, he and H.J. Vance chased me down and held me in 3rd grade.
Oh.
And Marjorie Spry kissed me. And, of course, I don't think I ran as fast as my full speed.
So that's the kind of stuff my uncle was into. Oh, okay.
So you hung out with his uncle.
Well, we were in the 1st grade together, and we lived pretty close
Now,
together.
who was the one that grabbed the teacher's arm or something?
Well, what the teacher started slap Ed one day. He may have said something. She was easily offended. I don't remember what the event, but I think we'd been in a spelling contest, and Ed was standing up against the wall, and something happened that she was angry, and she swung her hand around to slap him, and he grabbed her wrist, and he was strong enough that she was just held there. And man, her face turned red, and Ed just walked out of the class and didn't come back for the rest of the day.
You don't remember her name?
Maggie Lowe was the teacher.
Oh, that was the teacher?
Yeah.
Lowe?
And that would be my uncle Ed that did that.
Oh, it was your uncle did that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Aunt Dot's, her brother. Yeah.
She taught the
Okay.
1st and 2nd grade, so it was probably when we were in the 2nd grade that happened.
How many rooms was in that schoolhouse?
They had 4 classrooms and an auditorium.
And,
So
and a cafeteria back there.
Jenny Williams went there, right?
Yeah.
Did Jerry Short go there?
Yeah,
For
I
a year?
graduated with Jerry Short. He lived right down. In fact, he knew the Shorts. That's who the Smiths that that was Jerry was the grandson.
I think Mary Alice married one of the Shorts.
Yeah.
No, Maggie Lowe married a Short. So
I think all of them were kin. They had.
I think Lowe married a
the
Short.
school bus
so
driver
that
was a Short too.
Really? Well, let's see the Keeble plantation Jerry Short's family
Peyton Smith
lived there.
Yeah, but Peyton Smith is one he talks about in his book. About you said some of it's fiction, some not. Some is not. But that's you look at him kind of like the hero in a way.
He's my spokesperson for Old Jefferson. So, when we thought about a way to revitalize the community, supposedly the community did, then he's the spokesperson.
Really?
For the author, and I happen to be the author.
So you must have had him and held him in high regard.
Well, then. he was the local merchant, and he would, anybody that could own and run a store to me was a big deal.
Big shot, yeah.
And I would get a ride home by Mrs. Smith. They had a 32 Ford sedan, and my dad saw me getting out of the car. And he said, Charles, it wastes that woman's gas for you to ride with her. And he meant I should just walk. Well, the next time she gave me a ride, when she slowed down, I just jumped out of the car.
I've heard that story before.
Jumped out.
And I went rolling down the ditch and my groceries and everything, and she almost had a heart attack.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, I heard that one.
And she said, Charles, you don't have to jump out to save gas.
Wow. I thought I had a rough childhood.
But see, my dad had a problem of straining at a gnat and swallowing a camel. There were things he would overlook, but
now, did you tell me was your dad a drinker? Did you tell me that?
He was a consumer.
Consumer, okay. Yeah. But your mom was a good Christian lady.
Yeah, she really. And he didn't. People couldn't come there if they were drinking. His friends could come there, but they couldn't come there if they were intoxicated.
Yeah.
And we had some interesting stories.
Where'd they get liquor at?
Mom Mullins?
Your uncle?
No.
Yeah,
Mom's brother.
See, every poor town could afford a tavern, so Ma Mullins, Jack Mullins' mother, owned a tavern there.
Roy Mullins was a model citizen.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of Mullins around.
I've got it. Do you know I've got an old coffee pot that came from that old tavern? I do. That's one of the things I've got. I got several old things.
You remember the tavern?
Yeah. I can remember Roy Mullins. I don't remember Ma Mullins.
You remember going in there?
No.
Well, Roy was the older one. He had an Indian motorcycle. But Jack Mullins had a T model convertible. Didn't have a top for it. And we were riding in it one day, and they took up a collection for gas, and somehow I had a dime that I put in, and they looked at me like I was crazy, putting the whole dime in on toward the gas.
Well, how much was a gallon of gas back then?
About 12 or 13 cents.
Really?
Yeah.
So what would a gallon get you? 18 miles, 25 miles?
I don't know, but when I had a 36 Ford, we took up a collection one time to get the kids home, and we got in, I think, 16 cents. And
Really?
that bought 1 gallon of gas.
So apparently you run out of gas very often, right? Did y'all run out of gas a lot?
No, but we had to know where the gas station was pretty clearly.
Yes.
And my uncle would tell a story of somebody had a motorcycle around there, and this is Aunt Dot's Uncle John Comer.
Yeah.
And he said they would ride it at night, and they would loosen up the thing like the gas had been leaking. He thought he was leaking gas. They would loosen up something on there, and the guy thought he didn't know they'd been out riding a motorcycle. He said they'd done it several times.
Really?
Well, it was Jack's older brother, Moon, that had the motor.
It said it had to be him they were doing it to.
Had an Indian motorcycle. He came around that corner. That used to be a gravel road, and he came around the corner from the bridge and spilled, and he had on a real fancy shirt. And I remember seeing, it didn't hurt him badly, but
So he would have been on the old Jefferson side of the bridge? Okay.
Yeah, he spilled in the gravel there and kind of messed up his arm a little bit. But
So that area... and if folks, if folks hadn't been down there, just go down Old Jefferson Pike, off of Jefferson Pike, and you could park right there at the guardrails there, right? And you can get out and walk up, and you can see the not a remnants. What would you call it? You can just see where maybe a bridge was.
Yeah,
Is there embankment
if you
over
look
there?
around, yeah, but it's a little bit of old concrete left. But Mike, we're going to try to do another Old Jefferson tour this year, February, like we did last year or a couple of years ago. And we're going to do another one here in February.
Well,
sometime
Charles,
in February.
you were there with us.
Yeah, he would have won. They
Last year, we had a
yeah.
good crowd out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we had about 80 people is what I counted, didn't you?
I really think that Tennessee should buy the old Jefferson back from the Corps of Engineers
Yes, sir.
and put a lodge there so people could go back and be great fishing there with the river all the way around.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, maybe it'll happen one day, you know.
I'd be willing to buy it if they'd give me a deal on it.
What do you think? How much?
I'd pay $2 million.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Hey, I could pitch it.
Yeah.
But I gotta
you got
get
a salesman right here.
I can't do it on my own. I gotta get other people buying in. I gotta get commissioners. I gotta get mayor. I gotta get city council. We could have saved that old house, the old Liberty King's John home, and I promised Ernie Johns. That's one of the last things he told me. He said, Mike, try to save that house if you can. We had that thing done, but and this is what's sad. I hate to say this live on radio, but I'm just being brutally honest. If I'd have had some lobbyists, we'd have got it done. It's just hard. It's hard to, because you got so many things you're tackling as a lawmaker. It's hard to do all this, but if you don't have buy-in from locals, it's going to be hard.
I thought one time it'd been a neat place for a museum, old Jefferson Museum, because even
we could have bought that for $150,000.
Yeah.
I don't know if Andy Johns still sell it for that, but it needs a ton of work.
He
it's probably going to take
when the old house was for sale. That's the one that has the log house inside.
Yes, sir.
He offered it to me for $200,000, but
too deteriorated, wasn't it? The money pit kind of just bad shape.
it would have taken a lot of work. It wasn't worth $200,000.
But the historic value of that, Colonel Robert Weakley built it. Robert Weakley, Weakley County, Weakley Lane. My understanding, Robert Weakley was the first lieutenant governor of the state of Tennessee. Marty Lupman knows more about that. That guy, I guess, not inherited. Revolutionary War grant, was it 1,000 acres? Or 3,000 acres.
I'm not sure on that one, Mike.
Well, if Marty's listening, I think he either had 3,000 acres or 1,000 acres through there.
Yeah. But like I said, there's nothing. I guess that's about the only old place from Old Jefferson that exists, and it wasn't right in the heart of Old Jefferson, but it's still considered Old Jefferson. And I think it was a hospital too during the Civil War.
Well, you share with me, Sam Davis' home was considered Old Jefferson
up till 1869
because Smyrna wasn't even there.
Right, until 1869 when
Old Jefferson was the county seat originally.
Well, you were sharing off air just in the foyer, where about your upbringing, how you all built your first house.
Yeah, when they took down the old courthouse in Old Jefferson, evidently the materials were stored in back of Ben Ward's place, and I guess my dad got in a discussion with him one day and said, I'll build a house out of that material if you'll let me use your land down by the river. And so we built that in 1937, I think. And I was the nail puller. I was about 8 years old.
Well, you made a comment, too. If you'd have saved those nails, it'd be worth about a dime a piece.
Yeah. You have to straighten them back out. You do that?
Well, we probably were able to buy nails, but that was about the extent of it. We didn't have to buy any materials.
Yeah.
And we used the old metal for the roof and everything.
That's cool. Connor, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Allie Dowenhauer with Isaiah 117 House. Isaiah 117 House provides physical and emotional support for children awaiting foster care placement here in Rutherford County. We are changing the way foster care begins, and those kiddos are brought to our house to hang out and wait for a foster family, and they're given everything they need. We support foster children, DCS, and foster families here in Rutherford County. Visit us at www.isaiah117house.com or visit our Facebook page, Isaiah 117 House, Rutherford County.
Josh Moss with Affordable Heating and Cooling provides residential HVAC and duct cleaning services to the Middle Tennessee area. With more than 20 years of experience, Josh Moss and the AHC team provide 24/7 service and take care to ensure whatever work you need done is done in a professional, timely manner. Contact AHC at 615-745-1676. That's 615-745-1676. Or go to their website at affordableheatingandcoolingtn.com.
Most people know that their insurance can provide them with coverage for the many life's mishaps, but I can help you also unlock discounts, save money, and get benefits with Farmers Insurance policy perks. Whether we're discussing home or auto insurance, I am here to help you understand these great perks. Call me, Mark Lewis, at 615-625-7070 for a quote, and you can get a whole lot of something with Farmers policy perks.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Not available in every state. Only available with select Farmers branded policies underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
Want a flawless look without the wait? Step into the Vanity Zone in Smyrna, where upscale style meets everyday convenience. Specializing in precision cuts, color services, waxing, and more for men, women, and kids. All delivered by highly trained stylists with an eye for detail. And don't miss the signature hot towel refresher, the perfect finishing touch that leaves you feeling clean, relaxed, and ready for anything. Walk in or book now. The Vanity Zone in Smyrna. Looking your best is always in style.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, from oil changes to major engine and transmission repairs, we've got the cure for your car. Let's hear from customers of Dr. Automotive.
He does a good job. He lets you know what's going on and doing it at a good price.
Danny does a lot in our community, so he's very involved and invested.
I recommend family, friends. Danny is spot on because he'll suggest what I need to do, and of course, I've never had an issue.
For quality care you can trust, visit Dr. Automotive in Smyrna. We've got the cure for your car.
Hey everybody, my name is Marcus Manise. I am the founder and executive director of Strong in My Father Youth and Family Services. Our organization is designed to help young men growing up in homes with our father have a better chance at a better life and a better opportunity. Our organization is preventative, so our goal is to prevent kids from going to jail, juvenile, but live out the purpose that God truly has designed for them. For all information on our organization, if you're looking for a mentorship program and your child is between grades 2nd through 9th, we encourage you to go to our website, stronginmyfather.org, for more information. Sign up to be a part of Stronger Sons Mentorship Program. And then we're hoping that this program continue to help your son live out the true dreams that God truly has designed for them.
When I say VFW, you probably have some visions of a smoke-filled bar with a bunch of old-timers eyeballing you. Well, the Stones River VFW is doing things different. No smoke-filled rooms, no turning prospective members away, and a strong emphasis on camaraderie and community. We believe in instilling our American values in our young people through numerous programs such as Voice of Democracy, Patriots Pen, Scout of the Year, and VFW Teacher of the Year. The Stones River Post intends on becoming a driving force to help, aid, and assist wartime veterans. So if you're one of those veterans with a campaign medal and you want that sense of purpose that you've been missing, then give our recruiter Andrew Farr a call at 615-490-5715.
All right, we're back. Conversation Mike Sparks. I want to thank Connor for his show producing. Connor, how you been doing?
I've been doing good.
How's school?
Summer school's not fun.
Oh, are you in summer school?
No.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
He's been out 12 years, Mike.
Well, we found out the other day, his aunt goes to church to me. Mr. Bailey was my school teacher. That'd be his daughter and son.
Time flies
Yep.
when you're having fun.
He's my teacher at Thurman Francis.
It does go by
Great
fast,
guy,
yeah.
Seward Air Force veteran. But we're talking with 95-year-old Mr. Charles Davis and grew up at Old Jefferson. I mean Charles Jones. Why I keep saying
where are you
Charles
getting Davis from?
Sam
Mike?
Davis.
Sam
home.
Davis.
Sam Davis.
Yeah, Sam Davis's father.
There's a lot of similarity.
Yeah, there is. But you were talking off air about your vision, and one of my favorite scriptures in Proverbs is it 22:1 somewhere, for the people perish for lack of vision, and you do have vision. And one of the areas that I was hoping we could talk about tonight was affordable housing. It's an issue that you care about, and you're wanting to try to do a 55 and up community for, I guess, for anybody, but we often talk about widows, and it seems like you see a lot of that. But I've seen you personally buy the home, and I talk about Godwink moments. I just happened to be talking to Brenda Bryant, and my son decided to sell his house. This is probably 8 or 10 years ago. We were going to sell it ourselves. And I mentioned to Brenda, and she said, Mike, I'm looking for something. It's probably the only person I even said this to. And you end up front. I hope you don't mind me talking about this on the radio. And you front the money, you put the money up, and then she closed it out. And so there's an affordable housing opportunity right there. So I seen
at that time she had
put that together.
She had a lady that was living in her car with 2 children, And that's why we bought the house initially, was to to that family have some place to live. And so we bought it for like $140,000.
Yeah, it was a deal. But my son, you know, we didn't have to pay a real estate commission, so it was a win-win situation.
And then later on, I bought several houses like that where people didn't have the down payment. And then people lived in it, and I let them build enough equity to buy the house. That's what Brenda did.
Yes. So this, and also before, because one reason I wanted to have you up here, I went and did a tour with Melissa Harrell, the court clerk. And I hope Melissa doesn't mind me sharing this, but just hung out with her because we're talking about expungements, trying to help people that got in trouble 20, 30 years ago and trying to clean up their records, people that have really been on the right path. And there's a lot of folks out there, unfortunately, but that's got in trouble. But fortunately, they've been on the right path, making good decisions. And so she showed me, she said, Mike, that's all the garnishments right there. All these people that advance finance, I'll argue hoodoo, Title Max, check into cash, Tennessee loan, whatever, over here at Jackson Heights, predatory lenders, and that'll swindle people. They'll tell them the rate's 11%. Come to find out, it's 132%.
Yeah.
Total fraud. And you put up some money. You paid off some folks' loans a few years ago. Why in the world would you do something like that?
Well, you know, in Ephesians it says when you become a Christian, you're created unto the good works. And I've always, you know, some people do things modestly, but I've always been fanatical at almost anything I did.
Mm-hmm.
And at one time I had so much money I thought I could never spend all of it. And I proved myself wrong very quickly.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I did, I bought up, if somebody needed a home, I would make a down payment and buy the house and lease it to them.
Yes, sir.
And then let them build equity. And then when I usually set like a 20% income to myself.
Yeah.
And then the homeowner, all of them, or the tenant, all of them built at least a $50,000 equity that gave them the means of buying the
smart.
house. Yeah.
Well, that's there's wisdom.
See, when you promise something, you think it might be $5,000 or $10,000. And it turns out to be a 50 or 100,000, but you still do the same deal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you know, I had approached Governor Bill Lee. I think I shared this a few months ago. You know, they literally raise interest rates. People don't know the and I'm not going to use profanity. I want to, but the BS that I see. I mean, they raise interest rate. Who the HELL raise interest rate? Ain't nobody wants higher rates. And people need to know, Phil Williams ain't going to cover this stuff. Nobody's going to cover this stuff. This is what's so aggravating to me as a representative. And they raise interest rates. And so what she was showing me, all these garnishments, you know, and all these letters going out to people, to citizens, to our people.
And it's usually the poorest people. Some of their lights are turned off, so they get a payday loan, and they don't realize that you get a $500 loan, they give you 4 1/4. So every time you get paid, you pay $75. If you borrow $500 from a payday loan for a year and pay interest only, costs you $4,200 to borrow $420.
Now Fox 17,
to get $425, you pay $4,200.
Yeah, Fox 17 did do a story recently, but what she was telling me, or one of her staff folks was telling me, they'll get this garnishment, they'll get a settlement, you know, they'll get a judgment, and the judge, if I'm not mistaken, the judge can add more money, and these attorneys are just zapping their account. So if they get a paycheck for $800 and they got to pay that rent bill, they got to pay that water bill, they got to buy groceries, those kids, zap takes it out. And here's what is so sad: there won't be a judge in this town, this community, that'll even talk about it. And isn't there a scripture that, well, Dr. King had a good quote that I liked. It said, how'd it go? It said something like, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And so to me, I'm looking around like, why don't people care? There's not a pastor in this town that's going to talk about this. And to me, it's the biggest threat to our culture in the next 5 years. You know, we're seeing the average home today. You know how much average home is? About 400. They're saying 420,000 is affordable.
Well, let me tell you a simple solution that I tried. I took the Federal Credit Union and I deposited $100,000.
Yes, sir.
And I said, when somebody gets a payday loan, they can come here and sell the loan to the credit union. In other words, pay it off.
Yeah.
The $425, and then they'll owe $425 back to here that they can pay over a year, and it'll restore their credit.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it was so simple, but it cost me $100,000 just to try it.
Try it. Well, God bless you for doing it. Our winner on the 7-day pass is Ivan Fleming. If you're listening, Ivan Fleming called in and it's got 2 7-day passes to Crunch Fitness and a free spray tan and hydro massage, about a $50 value. So congratulations, Ivan Fleming there. But God bless you for it. Do you know, you're 95.
We might need to clarify something. I have given away a lot of money in the last few years, but I don't think people should think that I've got any more left. If they call me, I'll probably be trying to get a loan from them.
If you ever had to borrow from Peter to pay Paul to pay off Eugene, you ever had a time like that?
Do what?
You ever had to borrow from Peter to pay Paul and then go borrow from Eugene?
I have.
I've been in those crunches, man.
What I try to get young people to do when they want to get into business is establish a relationship with a bank.
Yes.
And set up a line of credit so that when you find something, you've already got the means to buy it rather than having to struggle to do it.
Yeah.
And so I've always had pretty good line of credit. I try to keep at least a $10 million line of credit.
Oh, wow. Well, what you had told, well, before I lose train of thought, I'll going back on the payday loan, predatory lending. I think it's one of the biggest threats to our families and working folks than anything out there. I mean, the drug problem is serious. There's no doubt. Mental health, serious issue, but
a lady that works
it's going to grow. You watch.
A lady that works with Brenda called me one day and said she wanted me to go with her to meet with this lady, and this lady she had gotten into this payday loan stuff, and she was about to lose her house and everything, and she was going to commit suicide that day.
Yeah.
So we met with her like at 11 o'clock. And got the thing straightened out. But that's how bad it is. It causes people to reach a point to where they don't think life is worth living. It's so miserable.
Well, you know, when I asked the governor, I went to him and asked him to veto the bill where they raise interest rates that nobody talks about. I mean, people don't know. This is what kills me. You would think we've got 7 million people. People would know this. The papers would talk about it. The pastors would talk about it. And no one's even talking about it. And I asked the governor, he was shocked that I had approached him. He says, Mike, why does this matter? I said, man, the next generation is going to be strapped with this. I said, my dad didn't speak to me for 4 months because I bought a house on Week Lane, no money out of pocket. It was a smart deal. No money out of pocket. I had a used Mercedes with $140,000, bought my wife, and I later sold that car, made money. To me, it was a smart deal. But my father, he's seen it like you're trying to keep up with the Joneses and the Thomases.
And the Davises.
And the Davises.
And my coffee cup says, just when you catch up with the Joneses, they refinance.
Yeah, that's wild. But I was telling the governor, I said, Governor, if you didn't, and I was talking about having a father in my life that instilled some discipline, that instilled some, not to say a mother can't do that, but I said, if you didn't have your father in your life, you wouldn't be governor today, would you? He looked at me, he says, no, Mike, I don't think I would.
Yeah.
You know. But you're a mentor to several. You do a mentorship program, don't you?
We've got a thing called Grand Mentor, and people trying to get started in something can call in, and I'll share time with them, and it costs them $1, but they have to give the $1 to somebody that needs it.
Really, pay it forward. So well, you talked about. I hope I got the term right. It's called philanthropic capitalism.
Benevolent capitalism. We've got now that's something I really would like to talk about for a minute. We've got a coffee club, a group of Christian men who are really, it's a coffee club, but it's a front for real estate. We're wanting to buy apartments and let the tenants build equity so that if, like a young couple that doesn't have the down payment on a house, they could live in the apartment for 5 years, and then we'll refinance and let them have enough money out to make a down payment on a house or apartment or whatever they want to do. We call it the U.S. Coffee Club, and we meet at Chick-fil-A on Tuesdays. And these are all Christian people.
In Hendersonville? Hendersonville?
That's where we usually meet, but we're wanting to expand that and have other groups that are interested in helping the community. But it's really a way to have people that are prosperous to be able to buy apartments and let the tenants build equity. And it's surprising how fast it builds up. If we buy a unit with, say, 100 or 200 apartments, you might build up $2 million worth of equity just in a 5-year period.
Yes.
And if you share that with the tenants, then that means that maybe 50 or 100 people can make a down payment on a house.
Oh yeah, that is smart.
So it's not something we're trying to keep to ourselves. It's something we'd like to see other people do the same thing.
Yeah.
Jeremy, what's your thoughts?
Maybe we should charge them to teach them how to do that.
Yeah.
I wonder how much you could charge people for teaching them how to give money away.
Well, Jeremy, what's your thoughts? I mean, it's your generation.
Well, homeownership, and I mean, I'm renting right now, but homeownership is like a very far away dream for my generation. I mean,
takes a two income family, first of all. Both of you. I mean, that's the only way you can really do it. You know?
Well, you don't have to be thinking of buying a house. You can buy, like we'll buy a apartment and convert it into condos, and so a person can get into a condo much easier than they could get into a private home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what's the most creative deal that you've ever put together? I mean, you bought Hickory Hollow Mall. You had some of that. Now, did you carve off and sell some of that, or did you just keep it for a few years and sell the whole parcel?
Well, probably the most creative was, I was at a donut shop one time and looking at the Wall Street Journal, and it had 520 townhomes for sale in Sandston, Virginia. And I just happened to know where Sandston, Virginia was. And so I looked into it, and finally I just really wanted to go to the auction, wanted to see a big deal.
Yeah.
And I wound up being the one buying it.
Wow.
And I bought those townhomes, but it faced into the airport. And so they wanted them torn down. And they said if I would tear the houses down rather than leasing them out, they would give me a $10 million development bond to develop the area into a commercial property and rezone it. And so I agreed to that. And in fact, that's where the Hilton Hotel is now, right at the airport in Richmond. That
really?
Hilton Hotel is part of the deal. And so I wound up with I only had $30,000 invested, and I was able to buy this 520 townhomes, 52 acres facing into an airport.
Really? How far was that from where you lived at the time?
I lived in Northern Virginia. It was 150 miles away.
Okay. I mean, did you have to travel there for maintenance and hire folks to work on it?
I made a deal with the guy. He was bidding $300,000 to tear the buildings down, and I told him to just park his equipment there, and when he didn't have a good paying job, work on tearing the buildings down. He had his own place for demolition.
Yeah.
And so he cut the price down to $165,000 from $300,000. And we now have had 52 acres and mature trees and water and sewer. And so it was and facing right into the airport. So it became a $5 million property just by tearing the houses down.
Wow. Yes. Well, what advice would you give young people today that, whether it's Jeremy or Connor here, that want to buy a home? I mean, and they know it's just so out of reach for them today.
Well, you could do like I did. I bought a book years ago called Applied Imagination.
Okay.
This guy wrote a book on how to use your creative thinking to do whatever you want to do. See, an educated person will make a list of all the reasons they can't do something,
yeah,
where an ignorant person will just start doing it and let things happen as they will.
Yeah.
And so I never learned to make a list of what reasons I couldn't do something.
Well, you're a strong man of faith, and I'm thinking, Ivan Fleming that won the Crunch Fitness. Ivan works for Smyrna Ready Mix, and he's a musician and as well. And Mike, I've got Mike. Y'all have heard me tell the story. Mike Hollingshead. I had him on the radio years ago. We done a remote at Faith Sanders. Mm-hmm. It's on YouTube. You type in WGNS, maybe Mike Hollingshead or Mike Sparks WGNS. You'll see it. And Mike literally had a dream in the middle of the night. Mike had a dream, and because I remember my wife and I had dinner with him one night, and he had a little bitty house he'd built, and he had a vision in the middle of the night, a dream, just like Joseph in the dream, that he seen a concrete plant out his back window. Wasn't no concrete plant, and his wife's like, "What are you doing?" He said, "Don't you see the plant?" He sees it in the middle of the night, and I think he owns 600 concrete companies now.
Yeah,
so God gave him a vision.
He's billionaire. He's not.
He's knocking it out.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of You've done a lot of bartering trade.
Yeah, a little bit.
I traded the Cadillac to Mike for my driveway at the Week Lane house, and traded him a bucket truck for the other driveway, and then traded Daryl Cantrell a truck for concrete. Done a lot of bartering, But what was the best barter deal you ever put together?
The next one, I guess.
The next deal? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I guess young people like these guys could probably do is two guys go in and find an investor like yourself that gets a decent return, and then they'd have 36 months to refinance, and hopefully they pick up some equity.
What I would probably have them do is just come and spend a couple of hours with me, and they wouldn't need me after that.
Oh, y'all hear that? Huh? Well, I appreciate
Now, I'll give you a little guidance on that. I used to do, what would you call it? Not simply mentoring, but I used to do advice. And if you wanted to come and ride with me for a day, it was $500. If you want me to come and stay at your place, your office for a day, it was $1,000.
Oh.
So I would rather have the 500 than the 1,000. But I don't have that deal anymore. I do have the grand mentor thing. If a young person says, I'm trying to start this or that, why, I'll spend time with them, and cost them $1.
So you're willing, just to recap, because we got this on record now. Okay, so you're willing to put up $2 million if you could, if the state bought the old Jefferson area from the Corps.
I wouldn't want to do it before tomorrow, though.
Okay.
But he wanted cleaned up. Part of the deal had to be cleaned up too. With the
infrastructure's there. I mean, Marty Love and Rick Hall built, I guess, did the trails, and
and you'll hang out.
It wouldn't take the Corps of Engineers a week to get the old debris bulldozed over and leave the mature trees.
You said off the air, you said that was one of the prettiest areas of the entire county.
I think it would be one of the main tourist attractions in Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
Or in Tennessee.
Put little cabins out there, rentals and stuff like that.
Well, that's what it was years ago. It was kind of a
that was Sulphur
resort,
Springs. You were
Springs
talking about Sulphur Springs.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I was talking to you off the air about that. Yeah. I asked you off the air, like, what if the park system came in and made it a state historic area, state historic park?
Yeah, well, that's where you got to get buy-in from the locals.
Just put a lodge there, and particularly people that their family members or ancestors lived out that way would really like to spend a week there.
Yeah. And what was cool for folks that didn't hear it, your house at Old Jefferson was built from the wood that came from the original county courthouse, because that was original county
seat back
at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's amazing. You think about it. A lot of people don't even know this stuff.
Oh, I know. We learn something every day, don't we, buddy?
When I was growing up, we were always told it was underwater.
Yeah. But it never got any water on it.
Just the same old spot. It flooded when the river got up. Right there, little old spot.
So
that's
sad.
it. Only place.
It took all those people's land, and well, I mean, there's a lot of sad things in history, throughout history. Jeremy, I'll give you the final word.
See, if somebody steals something, it's one thing, but if the government does it, it's the right of eminent domain.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I know that's a whole another show. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Mr. Charles Jones, and not Mr. Davis, Mr. Charles Jones, and thank you, Roger. We'll see y'all next week.